नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So welcome. We continue our study of Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. We did text 30 last time, Canto 7, Chapter 1. So we'll continue from 31. We'll do 31, 32, and 33 today. गोप्यकामाद्भयात् कंसो द्वेषाचैद्यादयो नृपाः संबन्धाद्वृष्णयः स्नेहाद् यूयं भक्त्या वयं विभो. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My dear King Yudhishthira, this is Narad Muni speaking. My dear King Yudhishthir, the gopis by their lusty desires, please remember, transcendental loving desires, Kamsa by his fear, Shishupal and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by great affection for Krishna, and we, Narad Muni is talking about himself, and we, general devotees, by our devotional service, have obtained the mercy of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Different persons achieve different types of mukti. Sayujya, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, and Sarashti, according to their own intense desire, which is called as bhav. So as we know, 5 types of mukti. Sayujya, to become one with the Lord, also called as ekatvam. Salokya, the fortune of being in the same loka, the same planet as Bhagavan. Sarupya, having bodily beauty as Bhagavan. Samipya, having physical proximity close to Bhagavan. And Sarshti, having the opulences of Bhagavan. So these are 5 types of mukti. But in the third canto, it is described, Diyamanam na grinhanti vinamat sevanam jana. That the devotees, they don't accept any of this if there is no seva vritti, if there is no opportunity to serve. Of course, they have seva vritti in their heart, the desire to serve, but if there is no seva, there is no opportunity to serve Bhagavan, then what is the use of all this? Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya, Mekatvam evacha. Diyamanam na grinhanti. Krishna is saying, even if I offer this to my devotees, you'll have a form like me, you look like me, you live in my abode. Vina mat sevanam jana. Without the opportunity to serve me, devotees don't want anything else. We only want opportunity to serve Krishna. And to serve Krishna, if one has to live in a village, or if one has to live in the city, or if one has to go to heaven, or Prabhupada said, I am even ready to go to hell to preach Krishna consciousness. Of course, if we don't have that level of missionary compassion of an acharya, at least we should be convinced of one thing, that Krishnadas ei bishwas korle to are dukh honai. We are servants of Krishna. Jibera swarupa hoy Krishner nityadas. And if you take seva away from a sevak, you take service out of a servant, then he loses his identity. Imagine a devotee who's constantly serving Krishna through their eyes, through their ears. Jibhe kirtaya keshavam muraripo cheto bhaja sridharam pani dvandva samarchayachyuta katha shrotra tvam shrunu krishnam lokaya lochana dvaya hare gachhangri yugmalayam jigraghrana mukunda pada tulasim murdhanna madhokshajam. King Kulashekar Alvar has said, Jibhe kirtaya keshavam. Through the tongue, let us glorify Keshava. Muraripum cheto bhaja. And O mind, please worship Murari, Krishna. And Sridharam Pani Dvandva Samarchaya. O two palms, please worship Sridhara. So you see, for each limb of the body, a new name of Krishna has been invoked. But the person remains the same. O tongue, please glorify Keshava. O mind, please worship Muraripu or Murari, Krishna. O palms, Samarchaya, Pani Dvandva. With both your um, palms, which means O palms, come together and serve Sridhara. Worship Krishna or Vishnu. Achyuta Katha Shrotra Dvayam Tvam Shrunu. O 2 years, please hear Achyuta Katha. The Sat Katha, Sat Kathodaye, the beautiful, wonderful narration, description of Achyuta, Sri Krishna. Krishnam Lokaya Lochanadvaya. O 2 eyes, please look at the form of Krishna. Harer Gachangri Yugmalayam. O 2 feet, please do parikrama in the temple of Hari. And Jigra Grana Mukunda Pada Tulasim Murdhanna Madhokshacham. Jigra Grana Mukunda. O nose, please smell the tulsi leaves offered at the feet of Mukunda. And O head, please bow down at the feet of Adhokshaja. King Kulshekara has in his Mukundamala Stotra so beautifully in one verse packed instructions for all the senses. So imagine a devotee who's used to giving all senses in the service of Krishna. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo vachansi vaikuntha gunanuvarnani. करौ हरेर्मन्दिरमार्जनादिषु श्रुतिं चकाराच्युत सत्कथोदये मुकुन्दलिङ्गालय दर्शने दृशो तद्भृत्य गात्रस्पर्शेङ्गसङ्गमं घ्राणं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्यारसना तदर्पिते पादौ हरेर्क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्ये न तु कामकाम्यया यतोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रया रति Shukdev Goswami glorifying how Amarish Maharaj gave all his senses for Krishna. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo, mind at the feet of Krishna. And Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. Amarish Maharaj gave his throat, his words, Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane, in glorifying Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means the place, Sthanam, the place where Vishnu resides, but Vaikuntha is also the name of Sri Hari. By remembering whom we become free from kuntha or stress. We become stress free by doing bhajan of Sri Krishna. Pavitra apavitro va sarvavasthagatopi va yasmaret pundarika aksham sa bahyabhyantaraha shuchi. By remembering whom one becomes purified, one becomes stress-free. That Lord is called Vaikuntha. So Amarish Maharaj in the 9th canto has been described as Savai Manak Krishna Padaravindayo Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. He would give his mind in remembering Krishna. It's quite interesting. Amarish Maharaj lived in Satya Yuga. And the word says Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo. Krishna avatar took place in Dwapar Yuga. So if someone says Krishna doesn't exist before his appearance, and after his disappearance also he doesn't exist. Let's say if you say that, but Amarish Maharaj lived in Satya Yuga. So how can you live in Satya Yuga and Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo? How is it possible? If you see the chanda won't break if you say Savai Mana Vishnu Padaravindayo, no problem. But Amarish Maharaj was Krishna Padaravindayo. Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo. With his mind he remembered the deity of Krishna. Although Vishnu, Krishna, Ramachandra, in Tattva, there is absolutely no difference. Jai Gaur Sai Krishna Sai Jagannath. But it is described that he remembered Krishna while in Satya Yuga. So that shows that the sun may rise and set, but the sun eternally exists. So if you can remember Krishna before his appearance, you can also remember him after his disappearance, and it is equally potent. So if we chant Hare Krishna and somebody says, "Wo to kahan hai?" Where is Krishna? You're chanting Krishna's names. Where is he? Well, before his appearance, where was he? But Amarish Maharaj Bhagavatam says, Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo. Not just that, it is described that Prahlad Maharaj, who was in Satya Yuga, Krishna Graha Grihitatma, he was haunted by a planet called Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj was also in Satya Yuga. So this shows that even other acharyas who lived before Krishna's appearance, they were also Krishna Bhaktas. And this is why when Gargacharya saw the baby in the cowshed, when he was supposed to give name to Krishna, Gargacharya said, Bahuni santi namani rupani cha sutasyate. Hey Nanda Baba, your son has many forms. And Bahuni Santi Namani, and he has many names. Tanyaham Veda no Jana, which means I know of them, but people in general don't. Or it also means Tanyaham Veda no Jana, which means neither do I know nor do people know. Like, for example, if you keep a lamp at the doorstep, the lamp will give light outside and inside. So in that verse of Bhagavatam, Tanyaham Veda means to know, no means no, Jana. So Veda to know, and no, no, and Jana, people. So that lamp of Na has been kept in the middle, which either means I know, people don't know, or that lamp is giving light to both places by saying I also don't know, and people also don't know how many forms and names this baby has. But Shukla Rakta Tatha Pita Idanim Krishna Tangata. But now, because he has appeared in a most wonderful bluish black attractive complexion, I will name him Krishna. That name is eternal. It's not that Gargacharya is giving a name which never existed. This is why in Satyuga also devotees chanted Krishna's names and remembered Krishna. And that name, like the rising of the sun, appeared from the mountain of the mouth of Gargacharya. So, from between the mountains, if the sun is rising, doesn't mean the sun is actually hiding behind the mountain or never existed, is taking birth. Similarly, the name of Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, is the sun which is rising from the two lips of Gargacharya are like the two mountains, and from between them, the name of Krishna, Krishna Nam is appearing. So Gargacharya gets the credit of naming, giving Namakaran Samskar. But Krishna's name is eternal. So, coming back to the context, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayu. Amarish Maharaj is remembering Krishna through his mind. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. And through his tongue, he is glorifying Krishna. Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. So when we get chance to clean the temple, we get chance to clean the pots in the kitchen, we should always remember, Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. It's not that we, as aspiring devotees, only want to sit on the Vyasasana and give a class, or only sit in front of a harmonium and do kirtan. We are here to serve Krishna, whether it means cooking in the kitchen, stirring the sabji, or whether after the cooking is done, cleaning the pots, or whether sitting in one place and stringing garlands, or chanting japa, or decorating the deities, or doing kirtan on the harmonium, or reading Bhagavad Gita, or someone's coming to the temple, you sit at the doorstep and you give them a card so that they can, a card of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or you give them Charanamrit, or you give them a laddu, prasad. It's not that, oh, I wish I can sit on the Vyasasana and give a class. Our duty is to serve Krishna. Yena kena prakarena. Never give up service. We servants means we want eternal service to our master. Muda varaka vayam. We are giving him his service up, and we are begging for service in this world. It is a fact. It is a fact which can be written in golden letters that in this world, as much joy we get from a circumstance or an object or a person, more than that, we will get dukkha from that same object, that same person, that same circumstance. It is a fact. You get attached to somebody, or you like somebody, or there is a certain circumstance which is very favorable, or you like a certain gadget or an object. जितना आनंद अब होता है उतना ही दुख होगा बिछड़ने पर. As much joy this object, this person, this circumstance is giving, either that much or more suffering will be given. Simple. This is why all these tragic love story scripts are written, and we still don't understand. There is no joy in this world. Bas abhas hai. It is only a glittering mirage that there is some joy. And we do feel some joy in the beginning, but it only goes down a downward spiral with time. But with Krishna, it's not like that. Initially, with Krishna, while we worship Krishna, initially there is distaste, only dukkha. We have to wake up early, we have to chant, we have to read so much, we have to serve the devotees. Material life, initially so much nectar, but only poison after that. But in serving Krishna, initially little poison. No poison, it seems like poison. Waking up early is actually nectar. But it may seem to be like it is poisonous. Then somebody likes to eat in the restaurants outside. When we say don't eat, you eat vegetarian food, you eat simple prasadam, offer it to Krishna and honor. Initially, it may seem too much restriction. That's like traffic signal. It's good to stop at the red light, and it's good to drive in the green light. If there are no traffic signals, then there will be car accidents everywhere. So some traffic signal regulation is important. And initially, the path of bhakti, okay, you have to put kanti mala and walk around like this. What will people think? So when you see people, you try to hide. All these thoughts will be there initially. It may seem to be like poison initially, but there is so much nectar. Sudha, Sudhara, Madhuram Pade Pade. At every step, there is so much joy. So much joy. Anandambudhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Krishna means, Krish Dhatu means to attract. To attract. Krish also means Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam, to plow. So Krishna means he who's he's plowing our heart like a Krishivala, like a farmer. And Karshati, to attract. He's pulling everyone's hearts through his pastimes, through his forms. So Karo Harer Mandira Marjanadishu. Through his palms, Ambarish Maharaj would serve the temple by cleaning the temple. And Shrutim Chakara Achyuta Sathot Katodaye. Through his ears, he would only hear about Krishna. And Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drusho. Through his eyes, he would take darshan of the deity in the temple. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drusho Tadbhritya Gatra Sparashenka Sangamam. He used his sense of touch in touching the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. भक्त पद धूलि आर भक्त पद जल भक्त भुक्त अवशेष तीनी महाबल Chaitanya Charitamrita. That the dust of the feet of Vaishnavas, this is the actual ornament in the body of a Vaishnava. Radhika Charana Renu Bhushana Kariya Tanu Anayase Pave Giridhari. Just by taking the dust of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet, which means the dust of Vrindavan, where she's walking, and Bhushana Kariyatanu, if you decorate your body with that dust, Anayase Pave Giridhari, you will easily get Krishna, because that is the foot dust of all the Vaishnavas in Braj Mandal. Anyway, Shrutim Chakara Chutasat Kathodaye Mukunda Lingala Yadarshane Drusho Tadbhritya Gatra Sparashenga Sangamam. Ambarish Maharaj gave his sense of touch in touching the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. And Granam Chatat Pada Saroja Saurabhe Shrimat Tulasya Rasanata Darpite. He gave his sense of smelling in smelling the tulsi offered to Krishna, and his sense of taste in tasting Mahaprasad. And then Pado Harer Kshetra Padanusarpane Shiro Rishikesha Pada Bivandane. He gave his head in offering obeisances. No laziness. No laziness. When we see Vaishnavas, when we see Guru, when we see Tulsi, when we see cows, when we see deities, we should always offer obeisances. जितने देखे जितने बार देखे जितना हो सके practically. Not that every time you see somebody you bow down. That's another extreme. But at the present moment, we may be a little lazy to even bow down to senior Vaishnavas or Tulsi or deities. Bhagavatam says, Shiro Rishikesha Pada Abhivandane. Ambarish Maharaj touched his head to the feet of the deity when he offered obeisances. And with his feet, he Pada Anusarpane. He was always doing circumambulation, parikrama. In Braj, once I remember, I was doing parikrama at Giriraj, and there was a statement, परिक्रमा में करे गंदगी दुख पावेगो सारी जिंदगी. Brajbasis have their own style. परिक्रमा में करे गंदगी दुख पावेगो सारी जिंदगी. It was almost like a curse that if you contaminate the place by throwing in plastic bags and plastic bottles, then we will make sure that you struggle and suffer this karma. So anyway, which means parikrama must be done in the first place. That was the point I'm trying to raise. So many Vaishnavas, you see Giriraj parikrama, Vrindavan parikrama, Tulsi parikrama, very important. With our feet, mostly we are not using our feet. We go everywhere in scooters and auto rickshaws and bus and car. So we have to use our feet properly. And that is whenever you go to the temple, look for parikrama. If parikrama is not possible inside, at least outside the temple, you can do parikrama from outside. I know one senior Vaishnav, he every day, of course, when he was very kindly visiting us, after prasadam, he would go to walk in the building. And he would take his mala and he's chanting and he's taking his rounds after his meal. And and he would do that for 30 minutes. After every meal, he would go down and 20, 30 minutes do circumambulation. I mean, walking basically for digestion. When I asked him, he said, no, deities are there. This is in India. So we have building, right? So deities are there at home. So by going around the building, you're actually doing parikrama to the deities. So in this mood, you get both benefits. You get the benefit of walking and you get the benefit of parikrama. But you get the benefit of what you're thinking. If you're thinking of weight loss, then that's not so high class. But if you're thinking of doing parikrama to the deities with circumambulation with the feet, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Then kamam cha dasye natu kama kamya yatottama shloka janashrayarati. It is described Amarish Maharaj, in his heart, he only desired kamam cha dasye. His only desire was service to Krishna. Natu kama kamyaya, not desiring anything for himself. Yatha uttama shloka janashrayarati, like how great devotees must do. And Prabhupada glosses it or paraphrases it by saying, just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is not there in that pastime because this is ninth canto. But Srila Prabhupada loves Prahlad Maharaj so much because of his tolerance and compassion, prayer for Swasti Astu Vishwasya Khala Prasidatam, for the benefit of the whole world. Prabhupada was in that mood where Prahlad Maharaj says that Shoche tatho vimukha chetasa indriyartha. My heart is bleeding, seeing that the world is not performing bhajan. Krishna, please save them. Even in the Chaitanya Leela, when Vasudev Datta was in the mood that, oh Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let the sins of the whole world come to me and I will go to hell and suffer. But you deliver the whole world. So Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, this prayer is like the prayer of Prahlad Maharaj. And oh Vasudev Datta, this is so perfect because you have that mood of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prabhupada, in that mood of compassion, uh, looking up to the ideals of Prahlad Maharaj, in Amarish Maharaj's story, where it said Amarish Maharaj gave all his senses to Krishna, Uttama Shloka Jana Ashrayarati. Just like how pure Vaishnavas take shelter of Krishna, Prabhupada in the bracket says, pure devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. So the point we are trying to say, back to the purport, Prabhupada is saying here that Sayujya, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarshti, these are the 5 types of mukti. And from where we branched out that devotees, they want to serve Krishna with all their senses. And it's not that they want mukti. Okay, if they get mukti with the opportunity to do seva, then no problem. Seva is most important. Seva is most important. Srila Prabhupada, when he was preaching, he was in such a missionary spirit that the whole world, he was actually like Hanuman. When Prabhupada started preaching, he saw that the whole world is like Lanka. It is like Suvarna Lanka. There is a lot of gold, of material enjoyment, but there is lack of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada was like in the mood of Hanuman. Uh, he set the whole Lanka on fire of bhakti. He set everything on fire. And he also got his own associates. There, Hanuman did it single handedly. Here, Prabhupada got his own associates and he was telling everyone, now you also set fire, more and more fire of bhakti in this world. And why I'm saying this is because Srila Prabhupada was so much in the spirit to spread Krishna consciousness. He had disciples who were 6 months old, not in age, but in bhakti. They were about 19 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old. So you're basically dealing with teens, 20s. So the oldest person would have been maybe 22, but everyone younger than that. And coming from a different background, someone coming from America, growing up in California, where there's so much happening, and now they meet a Indian Swami coming from uh, like Bengal and speaking about Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, and to put your complete heart and faith in the words and the mission of such a guru. It's commendable, really commendable. There are instances where Prabhupada is traveling in the local train with his disciples who are completely shaven head and they have a uttariya, chadar, dhoti. They're traveling in local trains in India. And sometimes we being Indians, we understand sometimes it can be very taxing, the travel, either with the crowd or with the cleanliness. And you can imagine 50 years ago, these boys and girls who come from America and Australia and Europe, they grow up with so much opulence and big homes and individual rooms, and now they have to travel in local trains with their hands up, and there are people carrying luggage and pushing, and they're sweating, and Prabhupada sitting with them, sitting with his disciples, and in one fine station, when the train stopped, Prabhupada just told his disciple, okay, you get down now and start a temple here. They don't even understand Indian accent of English, let alone knowing the local language of getting down in Gujarat, and you don't know Gujarati, or getting down in Hyderabad, you don't know Telugu. But their surrender was so much, and absolutely no internet, there's no communication. You have to write letters to Prabhupada. So much spirit to serve their guru. They just got down. Now, where they're going to live, at whose mercy, where they're going to get food from, they don't know anybody. It's not that they can go to an ISKCON temple, they have to start one. And they just get down and they start talking to people in whatever broken local language, and people are communicating in broken English, and they strike a chord, they pray to Krishna, they chant their rounds, they give out Bhagavad Gita, they hold a program, people come, they cook for them, they get a place, they start a center, they start doing kirtan, and Prabhupada comes for the inauguration of the deities of the temple in that city. It's unbelievable. So this is the spirit of service that devotees want. So here it's described. Different persons, Prabhupada's purport, different persons may achieve different types of mukti according to their own intense desire, which is called bhav. Thus, it is described here that the gopis, by their loving desires, which were based upon the intense love for Krishna, became the most beloved devotees. And in this way, continuing, we see Kamsa and other enemies of Krishna merged into the existence of Brahman. But why should Krishna's friends and devotees have the same position? Krishna's devotees attain the association of Bhagavan, Krishna, as his constant companions, either in Vrindavan or in Vaikuntha. Similarly, although Narada Muni wanders in the three worlds, he has exalted devotion for Narayana. The Vrishnis and the Yadus and the father and mother of Krishna in Vrindavan all have familial relationship with Krishna. Krishna's foster father and mother in Braj, however, are more exalted than Vasudeva and Devaki. So the point is, you can see in text 31, if you want, I can screen share for those of us who don't have the verse handy. This is where we are. So Narad Muni is saying Gopyaha Kamat, by transcendental love, which is Parakiya Bhav, the gopis attained Krishna. And Bhayat Kamsaha, very similar to the previous discussion that we had, in whatever mood it may be, absorption in Krishna is most important. So Kamsa through fear, the gopis through Kamatmika Bhakti, Shishupal and other kings through envy, Now it's quite interesting. I'll just take a minute here. Remember we spoke about Vena, right? We spoke about Vena. It is described in the Vaman Puran by Bhagwan Vyasadeva that Maharaj Vena, he was extremely envious, extremely envious. In fact, in his kingdom, when he became the king, he stopped all the yajnas, and this is found in the Bhagavatam too. That Maharaj Vena was so abusive and inimical of Krishna. He hated Krishna so much that as the first thing, as soon as he became the king, he stopped all the yajnas, he stopped all the deity worship, and he, in his kingdom, pronounced and announced, proclaimed that from today, I am the Ishvara, I am Bhagavan. Quite a joke when someone says that. तीनों लोगों के अधिपति, that's a big thing to say. But in Kali Yuga, everyone can believe some sadhu, some baba, some godman comes and says, I am avatar. So there's a big line for people standing there. So Vena was like that. And he envied Bhagavan so much, Krishna so much, that he never thought of him. Now, after Vena, the descendant was Prithu Maharaj. So now it is described in Vaman Puran that Prithu Maharaj, hmm, he had a question in his mind. And the question was, he wanted to ask Narada Muni that I want to know where my forefathers are. I want to know where, especially Maharaj Vena is. I want to know. So when Narad Muni, this is in the Vaman Puran, when Narad Muni came to meet Prithu Maharaj said, I would really like to know where Maharaj Vena is. So Narad Muni, with his mystic potency, understood that Vena was born as a mlecha in some place, and he was struggling with leprosy because of his envy towards Krishna. So now Prithu Maharaj's heart was very compassionate. He felt in his heart, he was feeling a lot of compassion. He was feeling, now how do I relieve him? Somehow he asked Narad Muni the whereabouts, and Narad Muni could exactly, through his mystic potency, tell Prithu where Vena was. So Prithu goes to that place, Prithu Maharaj, and gets Maharaj Vena, who was born in a very low family with leprosy and struggling as an old man. He got him there. Old man in the sense he became old because of his physical. His health wasn't that good. So Prithu got him back to his kingdom. And with Vena in this new form as a physically disabled person, Prithu, it's described, he went for Tirtha Paryatan. He went for pilgrimage, um, places of pilgrimage. He went for Parikrama. And he prayed to Lord Shiva, please save him. It's described, Prithu Maharaj prayed to Lord Shiva for Vena. And that's how Vena became purified. So it is described here that पुत्रेण जयते लोकान् इति सत्यवती श्रुति ब्रह्मदंड हत पापो यद वेणोत्यतरतमः. This is um, straight from the Bhagavatam. This is Canto 4, Chapter 21, Text 46, which means Putrena Jayate Lokan iti Satyavati Shruti. It is said that the father becomes free from sins when he has a son who is glorious. When he has a son who is very glorious. And therefore, the son is called Putra. Why is a son called Putra? Of course, there are so many words in Sanskrit for Putra, like you can have Sutaha or Sunu or Atmaja, ityadi. Tanaya, Mahaprabhu is called Shachi Suta or Shachi Tanaya, ityadi. So, but why is a son called Putra? Pun namno narakat yasmat trayate pitaram suta tasmat putra iti prokta swayameva swayambhuva. This is coming from Manusmriti, 9th chapter, text 138. That pun namno narakat yasmat trayate pitaram sutaha. That son who by his bhajan, by his purity, by his bhakti, can purify and deliver his father, even when his father has gone to hell. Hell is called Pum. Pum. So Punnamno narakat yasmat rayate pitaram sutah. That son who can deliver his father even from hell, that son is called Putra. Pum is hell, so short form for that is Pu. And Trayate means to deliver, short form for that is Tra, therefore Putra. So when in traditional life somebody desired a putra, it's not simply having a son. It's not simply having a son who's nonsense. That's not the purpose. It's having a child who can perform bhajan and deliver us as the parent, even if the father or the mother has not performed bhakti, on the power of the son's bhajan, the parents will be delivered from hell. It doesn't say they will go back home, back to Godhead, but it says that they will be delivered from hell. Now, to the degree the son becomes a pure Vaishnava, to that extent, the parents will have commission. How do we understand that? We see in the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is praying for his father, and Nashingadev says, don't worry, 21 generations are taken care. All your descendants are taken care. Don't worry. Now, if you see, if you back count from Prahlad Maharaj to Bhagavan Sri Narayana, only 5 or 6 generations. There's no 21 generations. But this is to show that to the extent the son is a pure Vaishnav, to that extent, the forefathers will get some benefit. So, does that mean if the son is a pure devotee, the father will go straight back home, back to Godhead? The answer is no. It means that they will get some commission out of it. That means in their next life, they will meet sadhus, they will meet Vaishnavas. Um, they will not just directly on the son is chanting Hare Krishna and the father goes back home, back to God. Not like this. Of course, in Dhruva Maharaj's case, you see it that Suniti Devi also went with Dhruva. The son has to be as good as Dhruva. That's one. Second, there is no reference that Suniti Devi did not do bhajan. That's not given. So we can definitely infer she was a great devotee because the response that she gave compared to the response that Suruchi gave will show how much bhajan shakti, how much love for Krishna one is developing. So Vidya Vinayena Shobhate, to the extent one has Divya Gyan in the heart, to that extent one is humble and tolerant. Okay? So in this world, if someone does bhajan, what happens to the parents? They will definitely get a lot of credit in the sense next life they will have opportunity to meet with Vaishnavas. The holy name will come in their life. But whether or not to take advantage of it and whether or not to actually sit and do bhajan, that's again on the shoulders, the onus of the parents. We may get some help while, let's say we sit as the pilot. You may get some instruction on what to do, but you have to fly your own plane. You have to fly your own plane. So Shastra did say, we want to also mention this here. You can see Canto 7, Chapter 1, Text 16, on the section that we already did, 7.1.16. Etad veditum ichhamaha sarva eva vayam mune bhagavan nindaya veno. Talking about Vena. Bhagavan nindaya, by criticizing Bhagavan, dvijay tamasi patita. Dvijay tamasi patita. It is said that he was tamasi patita. He was suffering in hell, Narake. But here we are saying that he was born as a mlecha suffering with leprosy. So how do we reconcile that? Well, we reconcile that by understanding that it's not that he was physically in a hell. He was in a hellish state of suffering. That's how we understand. Hell doesn't just mean a room or a place. In Canto 11, Chapter 19, Text 43, Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see this here. Let me you can see not this one 11, sorry, I don't have it here. 11:19:43 narakas tama unnaha. Krishna is speaking to Uddhava and he says naraka or hell is simply excess of ignorance. Wherever there's too much ignorance, that is called hell. Also Gita 14:18, you can see adhogachanti tamasah. Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone who's in tamogun goes to hell. even born in animal family, born in lower insect family is also considered to be hell. Why I'm mentioning this is because Vena, he did criticize Bhagavan so much, but through the influence of the birth of King Prithu, who in the Bhagavatam appeared by the churning of the right arm of Vena's dead body, Vena Paramam Gatim, he got a higher destination by his son. But you can see Shishupal, in the Bhagavatam, it is described as we're discussing. He never had any mlecha birth. He didn't have any leprosy. He didn't have a son who really had to go to Narad Muni and bring his father and do parikrama and beg for the blessings of Lord Shiva. None of that happened. Why? As we've answered before, absorption. So all of them were very absorbed, given in this verse. All these wonderful examples of gopis in transcendental love, and Kamsa in fear, and Chaidya or Chaidiraj means Shishupal in Dvesh, or Vrishnis in Sambandha, all of Krishna's family, and Yuyam Snehat, Pandavas in loving affection and friendship, and Narad Muni says personalities like me in Bhakti. So he's putting himself at the last to say that, okay, I'm only performing Vaidhi Bhakti. All of you are performing attachment, Raganuga Bhakti. But in any way we are attached to Krishna, we will get the highest destination. That's the point. Let's see the next verse here. Katamopi na vena syat panchaman panchanaam purusham prati tasmat kenapyupayena manah krishne niveshayet. We may have heard this so many times. This second part is very famous. So, katamopi na vena syat panchanam purusham prati. Of these five things that's mentioned previously, of which bhakti is most suited for us, तस्मात् केन अपि उपायेन, कैसे भी उपाय करके, by some means or the other, mana krishne niveshayet, mind must be absorbed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Prabhupada's translation, somehow or the other one must consider the form of Krishna very seriously. Then by one of the five different processes mentioned above, let's think of the five processes discussed above. Can we be like the gopis? No, too advanced. Can we envy Krishna? No, too late. Already tilak and kanthi on the body. Now too late. Can we fear Krishna? Sure. Let's say fear of material existence, of repeated birth and death. Fine. Can we have sneha for Krishna like the Pandavas? Have we seen Krishna? Have we felt that in our life? No. But then bhakti is definitely something that we can most relate to. So, fear of repeated birth and death and loving absorption in attaining Krishna. These are two things we can do. Atheists like King Vena, because Vena is under consideration, therefore we took a couple of minutes in dwelling into that topic of comparing Vena with Shishupal. So atheists like King Vena, however, being unable to think of Krishna's form in any of these five ways, cannot attain salvation. Therefore, one must somehow think of Krishna, whether in a friendly way or inimically. Portion of Srila Prabhupada's purport. Devotees, therefore, who constantly think of Krishna's form are certainly liberated. The only business of the Mayavadi atheist is to make Krishna formless, and consequently, because of this offense at the lotus feet of Krishna, they cannot expect salvation. So Prabhupada is very heavy on those who say that Krishna is formless. Certainly, Krishna is formless in the sense that one aspect of Krishna is Brahman, where his potency is formless. But to say that he is only formless is wrong. Just like there is Surya Devata, and then he has a sun planet, and then you have sun rays. So sun rays is formless. But to say that Surya Dev is formless is an offense. You can say that when the train is coming from a distance, you can see at night especially the train is going through a village. Uh, you can see the light of the train, right? They have a light because it's in the middle of the night or it's late in the evening and it's very dark. So the trains have light. So you can see that light is seen from a distance. So if someone says train is only light, yeah, correct. Okay, that's one part of it. But then you can see it's also sound because there's the honking of the horn. But then when the train comes a little closer, you see it's like a snake moving on the track. But all of these are incomplete explanations. When you actually see the train closely, you see there are people sitting inside, they're playing cards, some are sleeping, some are listening to some songs, and then there are some those who are selling fruity or whatever on that train. So many people. So when you see the train in totality, that it is actually a medium by which we can travel from one place to another, and inside there are families who travel, and outside there's honking of the horn, and it also has light, and it moves on a track. That's complete understanding of the train, not simply that it's giving some light. So to say that nirakara tu nirguna ishwar, that is one part of Bhagavan, that he has a formless feature of Brahman everywhere. But to say that the source is formless is not right. So Prabhupada is saying that we should think of Krishna's form in this purport and not think that he is formless. If you say Krishna is Nirgun and Nirakar, he has no form alone, then you can think of his form. And if he has no form and you can think of his form, you're also taking away his qualities, you're taking away his pastimes, you're also taking away his names, because he gets those names because of his qualities and his form, because he's threefold bending. You can see Krishna as Shama Sundar, and he's Tribhanga Lalita ityadi. Because he's the son of Yashoda, he's Yashoda Nandan. So by saying that he is formless, you're actually taking his rupa away. So all the deity worship is wrong, according to this understanding. Then you're taking all the qualities away, which means to be attracted to Krishna's qualities. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shunvatamte, like Rukmini, seems to be false. You're taking all his leelas away, which means Leela Pragayanta, to sing the qualities and the glories of the Leelas of Krishna seems to be fake. Then you're taking his associates away. You're taking, because Leela nahi hai, so there is no rasa, there is no seva, there is no bhakti, there are no associates, no name. So you basically reduced Bhagwan to nothing. So that's why Prabhupada is a little heavy about it. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this connection, Tena Shishupal Adi Bhinnaha Pratikula Bhavam Vidhishu Yena Eva Narakam Yati Iti Bhavaha. Except for Shishupal, those who go against the regulative principles cannot attain salvation and are surely destined to hellish life. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that don't follow the example of Shishupal, because Shishupal got lucky. We won't. Shishupal got lucky with his criticism. Right from his childhood, Shishupal was criticizing. Right from his childhood. From the time he was born, it was destined that he will be killed by Krishna. And so, naturally, Swabhavik, he was criticizing Krishna. And at the same time, Rukmini's situation just added more fuel to the fire. He wanted to marry Rukmini, and Krishna stole Rukmini. And now in the Rajasuya Agra Puja, when Krishna was made the most worshipable personality, Shishupal just could not tolerate. Sahadev stood up and gave such a wonderful speech how Krishna should be worshipped. And Shishupal could not tolerate. He said, this person's I can't see anything good in him. And he continued, and Krishna liberated him. So, good thing about Shishupal is he could not stop thinking of Krishna. It's not his criticism that saved him, it is his absorption in Krishna which saved him. So, we cannot follow that example, just like we can follow the example of Ajamil. Ajamil's story is given in the sixth canto to show that, well, somebody may be very sinful, by accidental chanting also they get uplifted. It's not that, okay, I'll live like Ajamil. I will do whatever I want in my life, and at the end of my life, Ante Narayana Smriti, I will pick up my bead bag at that time. I'll always have a bead bag around my neck, but when death comes, I'll put my hand inside. Doesn't work like that. So Ajamil's story and Shishupal's story are only to wake up to this reality. Don't follow them, but just take the essence. Absorption in Krishna is most important. So let's take one more verse for today. 33 now. Matra श्वश्रेयो यश्चैद्यो दन्तवक्रश्च पाण्डव पार्षदप्रवरौ विष्णोर्विप्रशापात् पदच्युतौ. Narad Muni continued, O best of the Pandavas, your two cousins Shishupal and Dantavakra, sons of your maternal aunt, were formerly associates of Lord Vishnu. Right? They were Jai and Vijay that we are aware of. But because they were cursed by Brahmanas, they fell from Vaikuntha to this material world. Purport: Shishupal and Dantavakra were not ordinary demons but were formerly personal associates of Lord Vishnu. They apparently fell to this material world, but actually they came to assist the Supreme Personality of Godhead by nourishing his pastimes within this world. So, Shishupal definitely was very absorbed, and we can say that from external perspective, we can say, by the way, this is the longest in my life. I have spent time speaking about Shishupal for so many days, but this is important. So we externally see that Shishupal is criticizing and he paramam gatim, he attained the highest destination, but it is his absorption, sure, but it is also his connection from past lives. That is actually Jai and Vijay. So his absorption in Vishnu is swabhavik. Even if you make Jai and Vijay into Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Shishupal and Dantavakra, it's like changing their dress, but the person remains the same. So Jai and Vijay have so much love for Vishnu. They stand as doorkeeper with so much dasya bhav that I am the servant and he is my master. Ma bhir manda mano vichintya bahuda yamishwaram yatana नैवामी प्रभवन्ति पाप रिपवः स्वामी ननु श्रीधर आलस्यं व्यपनीय भक्ति सुलभम ध्यायस्व नारायणम लोकस्य व्यसनापनादनकरो दासस्य किम न क्षमा. It is described by Kulashekar Alvar that Vishnu loves his servants so much. He loves his servants so much. You see, in this example, the four Kumaras, they came and cursed Jai and Vijay. And Vishnu loves Jai and Vijay so much because they do seva. They do seva. They're standing there as doorkeepers. So even if there's a mistake from their end, and even if they get cursed, Vishnu takes it on himself. And to bring his two servants back in 3 consecutive lifetimes, Bhagwan takes 4 avatars. Out of Dasha avatar, 4 of them are only to bring Jai and Vijay back. So Kulashekara is saying, like you can see Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. For Hiranyakashipu, it was Nrsingadev. For Hiranyaksha, it was Varahadev. Ravana and Kumbhakarna was Sri Ramachandra himself. And Shishupal and Dantavakra was Kṛṣṇa Chandra himself. So Kulashekara is saying, Ma bhir manda mano vichintya bahuda yamishwaram yatana or yamishchiram yatana. Patyantar, parallel readings. It means that, O devotee, absolutely don't fear. माँ भीर मंद मनो विचिंत्य बहुधा यामीश्वरम यातना. मेरे जीवन में बहुत पाप हो चुके. आई हैव बीन वेरी सिंफुल. ओके. अलम 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 एका प्राणिनाम पातकानाम. Enough, enough, enough. Don't keep saying about your past. Why? माँ भीर मंद मनो vichintya bahuda yamishwaram yatana. Oh mind, please don't keep thinking of your past mistakes and the reactions that will come and how you will go to hell. Don't. Naivami prabhavanti papa ripava. These reactions cannot touch you. Why? Swami nanu Sridhara. Isn't Lakshmi Narayana Sridhara your master? Why are you fearing? Do you have more faith in your reactions or do you have more faith in the protective power of your master? Do you have more faith in the reactions of your mistakes or do you have more faith in the rescuing power of your master? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. Krishna is giving this promise in the Gita that I will pick you up. Why do you fear? Ma shucha. He says that also. So, but for that, what should we do? Alasyam vyapaniya bhakti sulabham dhyayasva narayanam. Give up laziness and remember Vishnu, Narayana, Sri Krishna, Ramachandra. Perform bhakti. Lokasya vyasanapanadana karo. If Vishnu is ready to remove the suffering of the whole world, dasasya kim na kshama. Why wouldn't he do it for his own servants? अभिमान में रहो. गर्व करना हो तो इस बात का गर्व हो कि हम प्रभु के दास हैं और इतने बड़े प्रभु के चरणों में दास. ओह, we should have abhiman, we should have pride of the fact that we belong to Sri Hari, we belong to the creator of the whole creation. What can happen to us? Nothing can. Nobody can touch us. Yamaraj, Yamadutas cannot look in our direction. If we give up laziness and perform bhakti and remember our master. On our own, we are nothing. But in connection to our master, we have some value because of his presence. You take some tap water, by itself, it has no value. You mix it into the Ganga, oh, now everyone is doing Achaman. Why? Not because of the tap water, but because of its connection to Ganga. So we are all like tap water. We have no value. But being in touch with our master, Sridhara, Narayana, Krishna, whatever value is there is because of that connection. So therefore, it is very important to serve the Lord and to be absorbed in his thoughts. Very important. Somebody will say, but we are very busy. How can we remember Bhagavan? The best role model is a thela wala. When you walk in India, you see hawkers on the street, especially in a marketplace. They are the best example. The marketplace is so noisy, so noisy. But you will see every thela wala. I'm not even saying shopkeeper. I'm saying the hawker outside. He has no shade, nothing. He's just standing, either selling fruits or vegetables, whatever it may be. There's so much happening in a marketplace. There are so many stores. There are so many things. People are walking back and forth. In the middle of that, you will have some honking of the traffic. But he is absorbed. He is absorbed how many fruits he has, who is the customer, and not just one customer. Five customers are waiting. They're asking five different things. Have you seen? And for one person, he is giving एक डजन कुछ दे दिया, फिर इनको आधा किलो कुछ दे दिया. He is constantly absorbed. Doesn't matter what is happening in the world around. He is in the world. He is in the marketplace, but he is absorbed. अपने धुन में है. That's how we should be. Padma Patram Ivam Bhasa. We are in the marketplace of this world. So many things will keep happening. If the thelawala, the hawker, stands there and he looks around who is making how much profit, then he will not be able to do anything. If he starts looking around which shop has how many customers, okay, if there's a fish market there, who's coming there, or if there's a jewelry store there, who's entering, then what about his fruits? And even when people are coming, he has to be absorbed. He has to see who's wasting his time. There may be people who will just say, Kela kitna diya, sep kitna diya. That's all. They will not purchase anything. They just want to know what the rate is going on. And then they will come and argue also. But that person is giving for 25 rupees. Why are you charging 35? This person will be cut and dry. He will say, Saab, fir aap wahan se le lijiye. You please take it from there. Right? Because he's so absorbed. He wants to get his business. So that is the focus that is needed to make advancement. And then whatever may our past be, whatever may be around us, we have to somehow get into isolation. We have to um, insulate ourselves. This is very important. We may not be able to isolate ourselves, but we have to insulate ourselves. Not every time we will be getting an environment where peaceful, shanti, shanti, shanti. You will have a temple, you will have a monastery, you will have a cave. ऐसा नहीं संभव. Krishna spoke the Gita on a battlefield, teaching us that arrows will keep moving around in life. You have to be absorbed, oh Arjun. You have to be absorbed. Health will not be fine. Neighbors will have a dog which will be barking. Job will be there. You'll have to drop the kid to school. You'll have a fight with your wife. Whatever, things will keep happening. But this is a marketplace. This is a marketplace, and we have to be absorbed. To the extent we are absorbed, to that extent, Paramam Gatim, we will attain the highest destination. So we'll pause here. The two lessons that we take in this discussion and from the three verses is be absorbed in the mind and with our senses, we serve Krishna selflessly. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील गुरुदेव की जय. शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय. श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की जय. श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय. जय जय श्री राधे श्याम.